Okay, hello. Welcome to my YouTube video. I'm gonna be using my model because, like, I don't know, it feels weird just like have a screen with like nothing on it except for this fucking picture of child. Okay, so I'm uploading this on YouTube and making it public because I don't know how like unlisting stuff works, question mark. So I'm just make it simple, make it public. So like for people who are like watching this who are not my bestie, I'm making this video for my bestie because I want to like talk about how great the Genshin Impact um boss themes are, or like why I like them. I want to also preface that like I do have classical music training, but it's been like many years since I've actually done anything with classical music, and plus that was in piano, not anything about like orchestra. So the only knowledge I have of orchestra is just like my very basic knowledge of when I was in band, and also going like my ears have been trained to like listen for stuff. So that's I'm just gonna say that out now. I'm not a professional in any way. I just have a deep appreciation for things like this. So yeah, now that that's out of the way, I don't think there's anything. Oh yeah, right. My bestie also doesn't play Genshin, has no idea what Genshin is, so when I explain lore and stuff, it's gonna be really generalized, but I do know the lore, okay? Um, I mean, it's like half of what I stream. But yeah, anyway, I'm gonna get started. I just I know I sent like 3 videos, right? 3 things. But I decided that I also want to do the other 2 that I really like, which is like how many boss themes are there? 2, 4, 6, 7. So 7. So I'm gonna do 5 out of 7 because the first 2 are pretty basic in my opinion, and they're like great, but I think the other ones are much better, starting with Childe. So, backstory for Childe, we fight him because he's baddie. Okay, that's really all you need to know. He's a part of like this organization, called the Fatui, and their region is kind of supposed to be based off of like Russia-ish. I say ish because I'm actually not sure. And I want to keep this in mind because the fact that he's a part of the Fatui is the important part. Um, and I think this is just my opinion, okay? This entire video is just my opinion, but I'm pretty sure that they used Childe as kind of like an experimental track because it's very different from the first 2 boss battles, but also it's just all kind of all over the place. You'll see okay, we'll just start. I'm hoping that this is loud enough, but also doesn't be overpowered by my voice. I will be pausing a lot in this video, so if you want to listen like to the whole thing, I'll put them in the description in order. But yeah, anyway, I love this first part so much. I'm gonna turn this up on my end too. Like this flute. Oh my god. Okay, it's just gonna be fangirling over fucking orchestra music this whole time. So Childe has like a lot of flute things like this, and I do want to I do want to say, let me pause. I do want to say that this boss battle is taking place in a region called Liyue, and Liyue is based off of China, so there will be a lot of like Chinese traditional instruments, which I really love. By the way, right now there's like 4 regions. Yeah, right now there's 4 regions. So this one is taking place in the Chinese one. That part is important because there are bosses that take place in other regions that we'll listen to later. You can kind of hear like the flute going off in the background, kind of doing like a weird thing. It reminds me of the beatboxing flutists that we listen to. So the person who composed these pieces also really likes to put like electronic or like modern-esque stuff into the pieces, and that's, I mean, it's like game music, so I mean that's probably why. It's not like normal orchestral setting So, again, the flute just loves to go off. I do believe this is the traditional, traditional flute. But yeah. And the piano. Actually, surprisingly, they don't use piano a lot in the other boss themes as well. The first two, obviously, but this is the third one. This is like the end of them using a lot of piano. As I think so. I can't remember. It's not like the main thing. They use a lot of piano in Childe's boss theme. Oh, this part's good too. It's like a really nice melody with the flute. I didn't... Every time I listen to a boss theme, I always think of like new things, or like hear like new things. But it seems like flute is like really like dominant in this. Okay, so now we have his transformation phase, which is a cutscene where he transforms to his second phase of the boss theme. Let me close this. Oh yeah, also I'm using my overlay for my streaming, that's why I have all this. And then here's the start of the choir. I think I mentioned to you, I'm speaking to my bestie, but I think I mentioned to you that they really like to put choirs and like vocals into all of the boss battles. And I'm not joking, I mean like every single boss battle has vocals in it of some kind. This one's just more like general choir. So here's him in his second form. There's shoot, I forget what they're called. They're like big bells that you use the hammers and they like metal. I'll just put it up later. You know what I'm talking about though. Okay, so this is the part that everyone really liked. I like the first part better, but you know, it's because it's like so different, and there's an electric guitar. Also the bass, it's so strong. I'm covering him. Here it is. So this is the part everyone was like shook. And I think this was like the first time they used something like this in a boss battle, and I always think of it like they were experimenting to see if anybody would like this kind of thing. I think they experimented a lot with a lot of different things. This part's good. I really do think that they like were testing the waters with Childe's boss battle theme. The violin runs. I feel like that part there, and with the violin runs and the wah, like it really gives you an impression of like you have to hurry, which makes sense because you know you're trying to beat him up. And this part, so the typewriter thing was also in another previous boss battle theme, but this is the last time that I ever heard it, ever. And then here's an organ. I'm gonna talk about this organ, actually. I like this part. a lot. But so I was watching an analysis video, and they were talking about how they like the fact that they use organ in boss themes, but it's like in a non-religious context, because you always think of like organs as being like heaven or church or God, whatever, right? But I'm gonna explain a bit of lore. But it's kind of ironic because the Fatui are a organization who are trying to go against this game's version of like heaven and gods. Yeah, so that's basically what they're doing, is like they're doing stuff to be against that, which is like really ironic to me because they use organ in all of their boss themes, in all of the Fatui boss member, like what Fatui member boss battles themes, even though they're going against God and it's like a symbol of heaven and stuff. I don't know, it's like, I don't know, that sort of irony is like really good. I never thought about it like that until I watched that video, but I'm thinking about it all the time now. Epic finale. Okay. I'm actually really sad that they never used a typewriter after that, because I feel like it could really fit in Signora's, but that's fine. So the next one, right, is Azhdaha's. And he's basically this big dragon, big rock dragon. And this also takes place in Liyue, but while Childe has like is only tied to Liyue because his boss battle is there and his mission was there for a while, Azhdaha was actually from like Liyue basically. He was made, born and raised, born and raised here. So, but yeah. So this is just the prologue, which is like a cutscene before you fight him. And he's like this big, you'll see later, but he's like this big, huge dragon-looking rock boss. So a lot of this prologue is very heavy in bass, to kind of like show how big he is, because I feel like when you use bass it really shows like the heaviness. I don't know, it gives that imposing feel of being big when heavy. Wood block. Oh, this guy here is one of is a god, by the way. Well, he's T-posing. He carries me in the game. Very strong. At protecting. So these cutscene prologue themes are always more cinematic-like, kind of like movies, because it's trying to tell a story. Yeah. So doesn't this remind you of like Big Dragon in like if you're watching a movie and the dragon comes out? This is like what would play. And then, okay, this is the beginning of his boss battle, phase 1, I believe. Is there a phase 2 in this? Yeah, there is phase 2. There's a piano in there. So yeah. And then there's flute trills. Actually, this song, or this piece has a lot of like trills in it. If you don't know what trills are, go look it up. But yeah, as you can tell, there's a lot of heavy bass sound. Because he's a big boy. vocals. See the runs with the I don't even know who's playing trumpets, bass instruments, sorry, brass instruments. You hear the flutes in the background with their trills. I hope you can hear me. I'm like trying to look at my voice meter or volume meter while I talk. Imagine doing these runs on a fucking tuba. Could not be me. And some violin runs. There's a lot of runs in this as well, actually. I think compared to like other boss battles. Some female voices joined in. Very strong trumpet line. And then like it switches to bass instruments. There's that flute again. And they're still trilling and doing runs like crazy. And that higher instrument, I don't know if it's a piccolo or if it's a traditional flute, but either way, it's going off in the back. Okay, and this is towards the end of the first phase. And then it switches to the second phase. Starts off very strong because it's like kind of... It's supposed to be very epic. And then the violins are very strong here. I think it's fun that... Very clear sound there. Okay, I think it's fun that like they have all this staccato stuff going on in the background, and then the violins are very smooth and melodic. I don't know. It's like a nice contrast, and they do that quite a bit, I think. Not in like, I just mean like in general they do that a lot, and I don't know. It's like nice. I'm a sucker for contrast in any kind, in any like artistic format. And then here's I forget what it's called, and I don't want to like say the wrong instrument, but it is a traditional Chinese instrument. I think it was the one that was playing when we went out of the orchestra concert the other night. There's a guy playing in front. It's very beautiful. And the same, there's you can't hear it too well. You kind of have to listen to really closely, but there's like some, I'm gonna just say trills because it kind of is a trill, but of another traditional stringed Chinese instrument, and I forget what it's called, but you have to listen really closely. Not here, but here. Kind of. Yeah, like right there, like here, and like it's kind of like a string instrument. It like if you, I don't know, if you can listen for the closest thing I can describe it to a common instrument is like, you know, a guitar, the top part where you tune, and it's got like that high pitched sound when you string across it. It's like that kind of. Just listen for that. It's in there, but very, very, very subtly. And there's also clarinets here. Clarinets represent. Very strong clarinet. And then, of course, this part everyone loves. Very, like, shock factor kind of thing. The melody is great though. But it's still got that strong like bass instrument in the back from like traditional orchestra bass. Not like bass guitar, but yeah. Guitar run. So yeah, he really likes meshing like classic orchestral music with modern instruments, which I like kind of love. It's like fresh, I don't know, to me anyways. Because it's so obviously traditionally orchestral, but then they added like electric guitar and it's like crazy. And of course, they're singing Latin. I actually have no idea what they're singing in the background. Probably something to do with his backstory, but you know. It's more like melodic part here. With like runs with the woodwind instruments in the background. And then that build up. And the bass instruments runs in the background again. It's quieter though. And then slowly, oh my god, actually I really like this. So this last bit, right? So it starts with the bass instruments. And then if you listen closely, over time there's like more instruments joining in. So like the woodens here, and then the violins here, and then it's kind of like a build-up to this end bit here to make it like more epic, kind of. But I like when they do that, which is like common. It's normal, but it's still fun, you know. It's still fun where they slowly add more and more people to like build epic ending. So this next one is Signora. She's another one of the Fatui members. There is a part, I don't know if I can... I don't know where it is in this song. Okay, I don't remember where it is. I don't remember where it is in this. I remember hearing it. It's like really subtle and it's only one time. But there is a Fatui, there is a Fatui here, this one. I guess it is this. Yeah, it is. Okay, it is this. Although it's not this one I was looking for. I don't know if it actually is in Childe's, but anyway, just remember. Anyway, this is Signora. She's one of the Fatui Harbingers. Her thing takes place in Inazuma, which is the region based off of Japan, or inspired by Japan. She, as a kind of like a, so as a backstory, not really a backstory, but some context. So so they all have powers, right? They have powers in this game based off elements, and her element is in her first phase is like ice, and then in the second phase is fire. But her ice power is a power that she was given when she was in the like joining the Fatui, right? But her fire power is like her own power. Okay, just wanna anyway. Also the fact that, you know, she's from this region that's supposed to be based off Russia and it's like snowy there. Anyways, moving on. So this, whenever I think of xylophone like this, I think of icicles, I think of ice. If you know the Nutcracker ballet, you will probably think of that when you hear this. Man, the clarinet section. Context, I was a clarinet when I used to do music. And then of course, most of the choir. And this part is the Fatui theme. I think I hear harp in the background, playing with the xylophone. Hold on. I'm gonna go back a little bit. I think it is harp. Also, this marching kind of esque thing she's got going on, it does remind me of like the fact that she's in the Fatui, and like the Fatui are kind of like an army, so it's kind of like she's going to war, which is exactly what she's doing. It's a life or death situation for the both of you and the player, and then Signora in this boss fight. So, and then this really beautiful melody. Oh my god. To contrast this like war-esque thing they had going on. The violins. And then back into this sort of war-like thing. Okay, I'm gonna pause real quick. I want to give a little bit of context to her character. So she is a Fatui. She wasn't always a part of the Fatui, obviously. Basically what happened was she was a citizen of like another nation, and she had a lover, and then the lover went to war, and then she died, and then he died, and then she was like so filled with grief that she became this like Crimson Witch character, which like has fire powers. You'll see her later, and like went berserk, and so she has like that kind of like sad backstory, and then like she got picked up by the Fatui, and then she was given an ice kind of thing that to control her fire powers. Yeah, that's her backstory. Anyway, that's important for like what I analyze this later. There's a lot of violin in the background this time. And then the xylophone in the background. I really do think xylophone really got that like ice cold vibe, you know? And this is her transformation cutscene music. So yeah, her name is Rosalind. Oh, here. Crimson Witch of Embers. And this is what she looks like. This is her revealing what she looks like. And then here's the second phase. Again, with the they really like the electric guitar, huh? And the piano. So this is the one that has like opera in it. You'll hear it in a later. It is in the second phase, so. The violin runs. Along with marimba in the background. You kind of have to listen closely, but here, I'll go back in a second. Yeah, you kind of have to listen closely. And then there's organ in the background, again, because of the Fatui, the whole irony thing I was talking about earlier. Piano as well. They're playing a lot of chords in the background. And then it's like kind of like a repeat of the violin run. The electric guitar is doing it now. It's so beautiful. Okay. I just had to like get through that whole section of her singing because it was so good. Okay. We'll go back. We'll go back and actually like talk about it now. So yeah, the first part. So again, this is the Fatui theme. We got some electronic percussion in the back. So we have this run here with the violins, along with like a marimba, wooden marimba kind of thing. And then we have the same thing happen here with the electric guitar, kind of like a response kind of thing. And then she starts singing. So it's like, along with piano accompaniment, but it's like this whole thing of her raging out and be like angry. And then she has like this kind of sorrowful, I don't know what it, okay, you know what? We're gonna Signora lyrics translation. No. Signora boss theme. It's probably talking about her past. Hold on. Okay, I am back. I have looked up the lyrics, and it's actually pretty like basic. It's basically talking about how she's become this moth of fire. You can go look up the lyrics yourself. I would recommend going to Paimon's Secret Stash and looking at the lyrics they have in the captions. But basically talking about that and how she's seeking revenge, and you know, because of her grief from losing her lover, and then like how the fact that in her grief that she's found this power of fire basically. And how that she knows like sadness, and all she wants, she's just very angry. It's just very angry. I I like this whole part here that she's singing, right? To me, it sounds kind of sad and sorrowful. So it's kind of like in between this like portion here where it's all like very chaotic, and then this second portion here, the one after when she starts singing, is very chaotic. It's kind of like a moment of looking into her like mind and what she's thinking, and it's like she's kind of singing her heart out here, and then after she's done in her moment of weakness, she goes immediately back to being a angry war. She wants vengeance kind of thing. So, I mean, that's my interpretation. Could be different, could be like completely wrong, but in my opinion, that is what it sounds like to me. So. And then it calms down because it's coming towards the end. And it's got the whole choir this time. Okay. So that's the end of that one. We'll go to, okay, so the next two are actually my favorites so far. Could be because they're just the newest ones, so I might be a bit biased, but the fact is that I like both of them and not just the newest one, so yeah. I do think, like, I genuinely think that they keep just getting better and better, although I do like Childe's first phase a lot, but my favorite are the last two. So, this part is a cutscene, and I think they did a really good job at painting a scene without, like, with just music. Anyways, so this person here is another god from the Japan region. We're still in the Japan region, but we fight this god. So anyway, so the story is like after we fight the person from the previous boss battle, we win, and the deal was that one of us has to die. Whoever loses dies. So this part here is the god who oversaw our fight going to kill the loser, which is La Signora. Anyway, so here we have her theme, or the Fatui theme, and it's obviously focused on her, and she's like being like, oh, how could I lose? And then it changes to, this is the Raiden Shogun's theme. That's her name, Raiden Shogun. And that part of, so that kind of like violin thing they did there, kind of like a sense of urgency, because she's walking towards you with the sword. And then we have like the sense of panic from both the traveler, which is the main character, because they thought that they were going towards them, but they're not. And then we have the La Signora panicking, like, oh my god, you can't kill me, whatever. And then we have this build up. And then she's incinerated. So she got killed by being basically incinerated. And then it's just like this kind of calm moment after she's died. And the Raiden Shogun turns to us and be like, okay, you can like leave here alive. So it's kind of like this calm moment of like disbelief and like unease almost. So that's the cutscene. I really love how they did this, the music for this. It's kind of like super cinematic and like really well done in my opinion. Anyways, so here's the first phase. So her power is electric, and I think that's really it's actually kind of funny because they use a lot of electronic music in this, and like at first it was kind of like weird and jarring, but when you think about it, like her power is electronic music, it just makes sense. Okay, anyway. And there's a lot of Japanese traditional instruments in this, so like you can already hear it here. And I would recommend wearing both earphones for this, because in the left you got this very rhythmic, like da-da, da-da, and then the other ear we have like the kind of melody thing going on. So just listen, just listen. And then we have this back and forth. So I actually kind of like how they did this, because I mean it gives you kind of like this weird wobbly effect with the fact that it's kind of going back and forth between your left and right ear, and on top of that there's like this weird whoop whoop sound. Wait. Like that sound. So it gives this like really, really weird, hypnotic kind of weird like feeling of being warped. I don't know. It's just kind of like cool. It's like messing with your brain a bit. And it's really fun to like listen to see which side is playing what. And this, super cool, where they're transitioning from the traditional instrument into electric guitar. Super trippy too. It's got like this effect over it, so it's like super wobbly. And there's a heartbeat sound. Oh, this part's really good. What about this like heartbeat bass drum thing going on? This part's my favorite of this first phase. It's super trippy to listen to with both ears. And the wub wub wub. And then again, it transitions to this electric guitar. It's totally not traditional, but it's like really cool for a boss battle. And see, like, there's a weird wob effect. I don't know why they were going for such a trippy sound for the boss battle here, when she herself is like pretty straightforward. Actually, this boss battle is really important for the next one. Okay, so here's her second phase. Her whole character, including like her character themes and her trailers and all that too, were all like electronic. So this is a traditional Japanese flute. Definitely more electronic, but with traditional Japanese instruments. And then like bass instruments as well for the beat. Oh, sorry. That's the and the taiko drums. Again, listen with both ears. Because there's like a fast-paced one in the background, like in the back of your ear, and then the front of your ears is kind of like this main melody. And of course, the very strong bass section is back again. So we have this like fun thing going on back and forth. Like every beat it changes ears about like, or it's not really like it changes ears. I think it's two instruments playing, so it's like each beat the left side and the right side are playing the same thing. So it's like really, really, really catching your attention. Right, left, like, you know? And they're using a lot of taiko drums in this beat here they have going on too. Not just like electronic bass beats, but like taiko drum, which is like fun. And then we've got this violin to help support the melody. But we still got that thing going in the background. Okay. This is like something I want to just... It has nothing to do with like the specific boss battle, but in boss battles in like, or not, sorry, not boss battle, but in music in general, any kind of music, any genre, I love when there's like so much going on and chaos, right? And then everything just kind of stops, and then there's like a melody, and it's like relatively calm, and then it goes back. You know, like I love that. It's like that break, or it's like kind of like a fanfare. It's like a fanfare in an orchestra piece where it's trying to catch your attention, and this is a pretty good way of doing it. I mean, in my opinion, because it's like, I feel like after a while you listen to a lot of chaos, you kind of get tired and like zone out a bit. So this kind of calm moment kind of pulls you back in, and plus it's a melody. You always pay attention to melodies, so it's like really nice. Again, the thing going back between the two ears also, there's a lot to focus on. It's really chaotic, but it comes together well. Also, sorry, I'm going back again, but this thing that sounds like when you tap your pencil against your desk is them using the taiko drum on the edges. I just want to... You see? Her theme again. Listen to both of your ears. It's so interesting how your brain perceives layers differently of music. It's so cool. Like for me, right? For me, I'm listening to this stringed instrument, the traditional Japanese stringed instrument. I don't want to like say wrong names, so I'm not gonna say it, but for me it's kind of like in the background or like very far away compared to this like main melody or like the bass drum line, and then this like electric guitar they got going on. It's just like in foreground and background. It's so cool. Very electronic-like here. Okay. So we have that. So here's the last one. So this person is the most recent boss battle, and I literally cannot get over. It's really good. Okay, so we have this character's name Scaramouche. Yes, like the Bohemian Rhapsody song. Scaramouche, Scaramouche, can you do the fandango? Literally, his first thing is called the fandango. You can't see it. The first thing is called ominous fandango. Okay, and he is he's a Fatui member as well, but he was previously, to simplify things, Raiden Shogun's son or child, and then he got like quote unquote abandoned, and then he ran away, blah blah blah. Okay, and he became a god because he wanted to, in my opinion, get approval from his mom in a really weird way, because she's a god. So he became a fucking mecha. The fact that he is the quote-unquote child of Raiden Shogun is kind of important, because this takes place in a nation called Sumeru, which is supposed to be kind of like a weird mix of Middle Eastern and like India and like various different regions. Okay, I literally like Africa too. It's very confusing. It's just a mix of a lot of things. But he's also Inazuman, which is the Japan region, and then he's also related to the Russian region because he's a Fatui member. Anyways, it's just his origins are a mess. But let's just listen to it because it's like really good. So this is before you fight him, not so much like a prologue, but it's like before you step into the room kind of thing. That's why it's called Ominous Fandango, because it's like before you fight him, so it's kind of the you see this is what you see, except this thing is closed. You don't see him, but you just see this. And this is very Fatui like. And this whole thing is pretty ominous, right? Kind of like, ooh, what are we gonna expect? Like, it's like a build-up. Kind of like gives you that vibe of, it could be just because I'm looking at this and I remember him being kind of in the shadows, but you're like in the shadows and you're like walking through some abandoned house or something and you're just like not sure what's around the corner. Like, it's got that very ominous feeling. Okay, so here's the build up to his first phase, or the activation for his first phase. Sorry, he just looks like an edgy emo boy, and if you thought that too, then you're right, because he is an edgy emo boy. The epitome of it's not a phase mom. Sorry, Scaramouche stands would like beat me up for that. Anyways, so here's his first phase. We got this like shaker going on in the background. Again, with the bass. Very imposing, kind of. Because, in-game, he's actually... His mecha suit is very large. Okay, so... Hold on. The run. It's very fast. The build-up, there's no build-up. Except for, I guess, the prologue. So, this, like, weird... dumb like bass thing they've got going on. Okay, this is my opinion, but for me it feels kind of like imposing, right? It feels like like it's trying to steal the spotlight from this melody that's got going on. And in my opinion, that's Scaramouche being like trying to take control, if that makes sense, of the narrative. So it's like out of sync with the melody. It's like the melody's like your surroundings and like your feelings, and then you've got this like weird bass thing that's super imposing and super like trying to take control of everything. Oh, there's lyrics. Except we can't here. I'll move them over here. Again, it's oh, okay, so this part's important too. Again, it's Latin. I also want to point out that Scaramouche is a very, very arrogant boss compared to everyone else. I mean, I guess La Signora was also pretty arrogant, but she was very self-assured, kind of arrogant. Meanwhile, he's being arrogant as a way to lash out, as a way to like get attention from people, kind of like a temper tantrum, a little bit. I don't think there's any other boss that's very arrogant. All the other ones are either like angry or like trying to do like go with their principles of some kind, you know? But Scaramouche is very much kind of lashing out, being very angry. So keep that in mind. Like literally unleash your wrath, really? And then you can hear the flute in the background is a traditional Japanese flute, which is like kind of like a callback to his original homeland. And then here's the Fatui theme, but epic. So this is another thing is, I don't know about other boss themes. I know definitely for Signora and definitely for like, yeah, definitely for Signora, but I forget of the other regions. But this singing, like the singing in this is very much Scaramouche's thoughts and like what he's thinking. Which is another thing. It's being said in first person, which is like, okay, sir. But yeah. The violin runs in the background. There's also like a weird effect. A weird effect, but effect in like singing with other people. It could represent the fact that he's being corrupted in some way by power or whatever, you know, or by greed or whatever, you know. There's also a lot of singing in this as well, compared to, you know, same with Signora's also. Very strong vocals in this one and La Signora. I'm so sorry. It's very, very, very edgy, isn't it? Now, 3 betrayals refers to the fact that he was betrayed 3 times in his lore. Just a small detail. Nothing like crazy important to the song, but you know. So here's his transformation phase, where he attaches himself to the second part of his body, because you know. This part is very, very cinematic and movie-esque, in my opinion. Like, you could hear this in a movie, for sure. Or maybe it isn't when you... I think it's just like, he becomes more powerful, maybe. I'm actually not sure. I, like, don't remember. Again, the organ. Very Fatui and very ironic. Maybe twice as ironic too, actually, in this case, because of Scaramouche wanting to become a god to oppose the gods. There's a lot going on. These last two boss, like this one and the previous one, have a lot of layering to them, which makes it like so chaotic, but like it's for a reason. Anyway, here's the second phase. It starts off quiet, but it gets loud, trust me. Like here's him in his full mecha glory. Sorry, I'm Traveler. This is the main character here. I'm Traveler. The organs in the background. And you can hear kind of like a light flute in the background. Keeps going up and up. Ooh. Okay, before we have to listen to that flute run again. Right here. It goes up straight into this part here. So listen really closely. If you want to go back, you can do that too. And then... So I want to point out, right? Oh, it hasn't happened yet. It's gonna happen in a second. So this is his mom's theme, or I guess his old nation's theme, which is basically the same thing. And then he's singing this like really, really pretty kind of melody. This part's really important too. So he's really singing this really, really pretty melody, right? While his home nation's kind of playing, and also the fact that he's singing about sad stuff. He's also singing in third person. And then there's also this part. This whole time it's been Latin, right? And then it becomes Japanese. And then it goes back to Latin. It's kind of like a really... It's like kind of like a callback to like... Because despite everything, despite hating his mom, despite hating like basically his nation and humans because he got betrayed, he still kind of like clings on to that part of himself too, which is like kind of sweet and sad and bittersweet in a way, because despite everything he still really is attached to that part of himself. So yeah, and despite everything he's still wanting recognition from his mom. Again, it's really interesting too, because like they are so good at fluently, like you can if I turn off the lyrics, right? Alright, hold on, where does it start? The violin's good too, by the way. Like you can't even tell it's like out of place. It's like super smooth between the Japanese and the Latin, which is like really good, like really fun in my. It's good. It's just good. Anyway, and then he goes back to his like temper tantrum or whatever. I love that caption. It's so funny. The trills. I don't know why this part gives me like Stranger Things vibes. It might be like the doo-doo-doo-doo-doo thing going on. the build up. And then the violin is joining. Oh, here's oh, okay. Oh my god. It's so good. And then again, he starts singing again. By him, mostly by himself. It's kind of like if you think about it, right? Every time his homeland's nation, his homeland's what is it called, theme plays, he starts singing like this. It's like kind of a different way of singing by himself, like from the first phase. It's like kind of more sorrowful in a way, kind of like not bittersweet but sentimental. I don't know. It's like that vibe that I'm getting. It's kind of like he has this weird longing, but he's kind of like in denial about it. Anyway, we have to listen to this bass drop again because holy heck. I didn't know I needed a bass drop in an orchestral piece until I listened to this. Dance to this. This is so good. And then he's singing again. And the flute's kind of like singing with him in a way. Okay, so this part. I really like the way the singer sang this part, right? Okay. So, we got this, like, he's singing about being abandoned, blah, blah, blah. He's all sad and boohoo, right? And it's all beautiful and melodic. And then, the more he sings, right? A Nightmare of Anger. The more he sings, as we get to the end of this portion, he gets angrier. Just listen. His intonation. It's like his intonation and his like it's kind of getting more staccato instead of like I'm using music terms, but like phrasing, kind of like smooth, kind of like melodic, goes up and down, kind of like a like a wave, and then he starts kind of singing more angrily, as kind of like he's going back to his temper tantrum, okay, and he goes more staccato. We'll listen to it one more time. And he's kind of like forcing it out a little bit. And then it goes to, you know, the end of this piece. This part is very reminiscent of Azhdaha's boss theme here. Anyway, I love that theme. Genuinely, I really like it. I don't know, it tells a story. It's like has really, it does the electronic parts really well, but it's like not overbearing, kind of like Raiden Shogun's was a bit overbearing. It's got this first part to build kind of suspense, because in the first phase it doesn't build suspense at all. It just goes straight into it. And then this transformations phase is kind of like normal. And then it tells like a story. Because I think in Signora's, it doesn't really tell a story. It gives you the emotions, but it doesn't really tell you a story, unlike the lyrics in this one. So I think it was really, really well done. And the callback to his like Inazuma, or like sorry, Japan Nation kind of like origins mixed with the Fatui theme, and like it doesn't have any of this like the newer region that he's actually a boss in, which is kind of funny. Despite the fact that he's becoming a god for this nation, it's called Sumeru. there's no Sumeru elements whatsoever, not even on his like body or on the music or in the music. It's all Fatui, which is like what he belongs to now, and then Inazuma, which is where he used to belong to. So it's kind of like a very selfish theme, I suppose. It's very Scaramouche, very him. But yeah, I have nothing but praises for this theme, okay? Plus this, I can't get over this. It does give you that sense of urgency too. I don't think I fought him long enough to get to this part of the song though. Bro, I will never get over this, okay? I will never get over this. Okay, so like, well, we'll listen to this in the background, right? So I really like Tartaglia, or Childe. I really like the first part a lot. It's just really nice and light. It is kind of like him in the first phase. In the second phase it gets all big, but in the first phase it's kind of like light and playful in a way, which is just like him, okay? And then transformation, because he gets mad because, you know, reasons in the story. And he unleashes his full power. But I really like the mix of like traditional instruments. And then the Fatui theme, and like they were experimenting a lot with this. And then we have Azhdahas, which had like a lot of like more traditionally orchestra stuff in the first phase, and then they get all like epic. And they also use a lot of traditional instruments in this as well. And they use a lot of like heavy bass sounds, and also a lot of trills to like, you know, really give off that dragon vibe. And then like Signora's was really good because it had like that whole opera phase here. And then it had a very nice like ice, like it painted the scenery really, really well. Like, because in this first part, you're kind of being covered in ice a lot. So it gives you that kind of cold, very cold ice vibes. And very war, like we're going to war kind of thing. And then it's like break to kind of like tell her kind of sorrows a bit. And then it goes straight back to being war. And the Raiden Shoguns was the first kind of like fully electronic boss battle we got, but I also really like this first part, which is the cutscene, because it is the first time, in my opinion, that they painted a good cinematic piece for telling a story in a cutscene, with the fact that they use Raiden Shoguns. I love when people do that. When they, I know it's normal, but like when they use a character's theme when they enter, and then they switch themes to the other character's theme when they enter the frame. And it really tells the story about her being freaking executed at the end here, and then like that kind of stillness and kind of like shock that we have afterwards. And then the wobbly effect that we have here, I really like it. It's different and fun and trippy AF, okay? And then Scaramouche, I mean, like, overall it's just really good. I've seen its praises enough. So yeah, those are the boss battles that I will listen to. There's also these two. I'll link them in the description too if you want to listen to them. But there's not much for me to say about them. Except for that the beginning. But yeah. I hope you enjoy the video. Sorry if it's long. It's like an hour long. I apologize. I just love these songs so much, and I'm so excited for what they have in the future, because next region is like the region I'm looking forward to the most, which is like Europe, but Europe, France, Europe, UK-ish kind of thing. So yeah, I don't know what they have planned for it, but I'm really excited. So yeah. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye!